just want to get into actually a topic that we covered on our previous episode. We were talking about the MJ versus LeBron GOAT discussion, who is the greatest of all time. And we asked you guys to send us, something, send us a comment, send us a video, something that you would kind of want to argue about us with. And we did.
Yeah,
we received a comment.
Yep.
We received a comment from actually a podcast that's called Talk Too Much. He said that he would say LeBron James is the greatest of all time because LeBron has had to face tougher competition, and also that he doesn't buy into the whole rings argument.
Man, thank you for commenting. Thank you for replying to us. I am glad someone hit us up. But you know how you be nice? You're like nice before you insult somebody, dude. I don't agree with that at all.
The rings argument is...
It's when at first when you see what he said, like LeBron has faced tougher competition, you kind of agree a little bit. Obviously, I'm assuming that he's sort of young and he haven't seen Michael Jordan's competition, like up close highlights or anything like that. So he's probably being a little biased towards his generation of players.
Just his own kind of experience with his own eyes, what he's seen with his own eyes.
But at first you're like, you know what? Yeah, but I don't know, like in the finals, the Spurs beat him a couple times. The Warriors obviously are one of the best dynasties, right? So, but you look at, I don't know, like his early playoff and like the first round, what was he? I think he's undefeated in the first round. I don't think he's lost yet.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in the Eastern Conference, right? Most of his careers, he went through the Eastern Conference finals and went to the finals 8 straight years. So he just ran through it. He dominated it.
Easy first rounds, dude.
And, at that time, the Western Conference was definitely tougher. The weaker conference was the Eastern Conference. I mean, that's what they say, He did have to face some, people or some teams that...
The Pacers were always pretty good.
The Pacers with Paul George, Roy Hibbert, Danny Granger, and then the Bulls with Derrick Rose
was pretty good.
Prior to his knee injuries.
I don't remember the Celtics obviously were beating him and they were going into the finals, but I don't know if they gave him too much trouble besides like earlier. Obviously Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen were a good-ass team, but I don't know if the early Celtics or anything were bothering him. Who else? The Bucks weren't good back then. The 76ers were garbage, dude.
Yeah, some of the teams that he faced in the finals was the Dallas Mavericks. Remember, he lost the Dallas Mavericks. That was, I think, his first year with the Heat. He lost to Dirk and Jason Terry and Tyson Chandler and those dudes, and then San Antonio Spurs, ran by Greg Popovich and Tim Duncan, who's actually, he's definitely considered to be one of the best basketball players, but even then he's still kind of underrated. He's not really talked about too much. He's got the points numbers. He's got the rebounds numbers.
When you look at the stats, dude, he's at the top everywhere in rebounds, points, blocks. I'm pretty sure he's at the top.
Yeah, he's definitely underrated, even though he is still considered to be one of the best players. He's not given enough credit.
Not known, exactly. He's not given enough credit for what he's done, for sure.
So the Spurs and then obviously the Golden State Warriors that LeBron has had to face with and without KD. Both of those teams were tough. The one without KD was the one, the 73-9.
Yeah, the Thunder, he messed up the Thunder when he faced him for his first championship.
Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook.
I'm trying to think, like in the East, I remember the Hawks were pretty good. They had really good regular seasons, but I think LeBron, if he even got matched up with them, would beat him. And then what was he? I think he was a Raptor killer for the longest time, dude. The Raptors could not get past LeBron.
Yeah, with the Rosen and
could not do it, dude. So, I mean, and then, I don't know, you look at Jordan's competition, especially with that documentary helping you kind of see it more, dude. All in the finals were tough.
Yeah.
Gary, John Stockton.
Yeah, the Sonics with Gary Payton, Sean Kemp.
Suns,
the Jazz,
Barkley, dude,
John
gave him
Stockton.
a tough run.
Yep. And then before the finals with the New York Knicks, the Patrick Ewing and
Bad
then
Boys,
the Bad Boy Pistons.
The Celtics earlier in his days.
Yep, with Larry Bird.
I think the Pacers later, too. Reggie was giving him struggles. They took him to 7 one year.
Yep, that's true. Reggie Miller. So he definitely had to face, competition as well. Maybe not. as much as a super team, I guess. I don't know. Michael, he still faced a lot of Hall of Famers. Like he still he still went through a lot of
more. Well, obviously, I think LeBron's isn't Hall of Famers yet. Like Kevin Durant's not a Hall of Famer yet.
But he
Russell,
will be.
Yeah,
but
Steph,
they will be.
all those dudes.
Yeah, but they will be. Yeah, so I mean, the level of competition, I don't know, man. It's pretty close. It's pretty even. And then when he said about the rings argument, it's like, what's the point of playing basketball, right?
Yeah, dude, it's a team sport. Yeah, it's to win championships, dude.
Like the point is to win. And Michael Jordan has won more than LeBron. Like that's the whole point of playing, right? Is to win. So he said, he doesn't buy into the rings argument, but
I just don't get that neither, dude. It's basketball, dude. Like you play defense, offense, you do it all. The 5 starters are pretty much the core. Obviously, you need a bench, but the best players usually play in the finals. The best 2 players, if they're on opposite sides of the conferences, they usually end up playing, and it's works out that way. I'd say better in basketball. Like football is kind of hard. Baseball, dude. Baseball, I'd buy that argument. If you said rings didn't really matter, I'd say baseball was the best sport to say that.
Just because one person's impact isn't as great as it is in
even
basketball.
If you're the best pitcher, the best hitter, dude, your whole team has to be decent enough. Your whole rotation has to be filthy enough to make it through the playoffs and win a championship, dude.
Yeah, and it's not like basketball where one person can really impact the game.
Exactly, dude. Michael Jordan, as soon as he stepped up, they knew the Bulls were going to be a problem in the future because he was just one guy.
Yeah, so, thanks for that comment. We appreciate that, but man, I don't know. It's tough to argue against Michael Jordan, It's tough. It's tough to argue. I can see his point. It's a very good point. LeBron has had to face some tough competition, some super teams, especially the Golden State Warriors. And then, some of those finals that he was in, he didn't have Kyrie. He didn't have Kevin Love.
For sure.
So it does make it tough. It is a good point. But at the same time, the whole point of playing basketball is to win. And Michael Jordan is definitely a better winner. And he only played 15 seasons versus LeBron, who's at season 17 right now. So, it's tough to argue either way. It's just, I don't know, man.
He's got a long way. I think.
Yeah,
dude.
That's the thing. So LeBron's career is still going. So, who knows? Maybe he can finish with a couple more championships, more points, things like that. So his career is still going. So it's tough to really, say it.
Hindsight, when we see it in hindsight, obviously you have a better answer.
Like 5 years in the future, and then we can really pick points and decide, weigh who's better and who's not, and make a decision then. But he's still got some years. But that was, a little argument from our previous episode, or not an argument, but a debate.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we want. That's kind of exactly what we want. A different perspective, a different point where we could, analyze it and then give you our reactions.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on from that one, let's get into actually a documentary that dropped yesterday.
Another one, another one after the 10-part series
from The Last Dance.